y'all, man. We got Loki episode 3 breakdown, Easter egg, and then explain, spoiler review, and yeah, though, and I like the scene like he make it green for green, for Loki and shit. But that show was lit as hell, folks. It was a lot of explaining, a lot of shit I ain't understand though. You know what I mean? Some shit I understand, but it was one scene. They was like, and they lied to him pretty much, cause he said all the people that was in the that TVA shit, they was made up out of those three guys and shit. But she said, the Loki female said they was regular motherfuckers, and we saw that too, cause she was having a good time. She was messing with her mind and shit. They was having a good time. So, and then and she said they was all variants, but became, a worker for them. So it's like, huh? You feel like, huh? So everybody said that was a big question right there. I'm like, all regular people, but how they become, you know what I mean? I'm like, what's going on here though? So did they lie or did they tell her, you know what I mean? She said one thing and Loki said, I'm like, what's going on? And I heard Loki, he little bye. You feel me, man? He said princess, and then he said prince. So that's why people, when I heard news, there was like, I know everybody had a conversation on that motherfucking shit. That scene right there, Loki said, oh, I like princess, girl, and I like boys too. So he kind of both, I don't give a fuck. You feel me, man? I get Loki in the day. You feel me? You know what I mean? But that was a lot of conversity. I kind of feel like I'm a lot of conversity and shit. Even though I don't give a fuck. I know a lot of people don't give a fuck. Some people got it. Some people give a fuck. Because they, they're talking about it right now and shit. It was on news and shit. And I was like, yeah, I heard that scene. Like, that shit. But, I mean, it wasn't like no big. I mean, shit. If he, why or bye, shit, let it be. You be, let it be. You know what I mean? If you like girl and boy, let it be. Shit. But, yeah, though, man. I think, and then he did the time zone because he like, hold on, I got you. And he like, yeah, that's just lit. And then the end of the part was kind of like, what the fuck they do now? They die or what? You know what I mean? The end part was kind of like a little question mark too. So yeah, though, man, but it was a good show, man. Good season, not good season, good episode 3, and we on episode 4 next week. But yeah, it was a big question mark. Like the biggest question mark was that at the end though, because the end was like the thing destroyed, but she walked away and he just standing like that, and the song came over because it's about to be the end of it. But it's like, what the fuck gonna happen next? Like, is they gonna die or they gonna live? You know what I mean? They ain't gonna die because it's Mars ain't gonna let them die. You know what I'm saying? Those are two main. I would say Loki's the main character, but she might be the main character too for that bro or part. But you know what I'm talking about. What episode she got in? But yeah, though, man, about to see Easter eggs, man. That was my little breakdown a little bit. What's going, telling y'all what's going on and shit. If y'all ain't watch it, don't watch the video, man. Don't watch the breakdown. If you did, go ahead and watch the breakdown for with me. Yeah, but yeah, man, about to ride to it, man. About to see what he talking about in the show. And yeah, let me know what y'all let me know y'all like Loki episode 3. Let me know y'all like it a lot. If not, let me know. But if it is, let me know too. But yeah, let's get it.
Look, all I'm saying is, in these 6 episodes of Loki, if we don't get to see this,
what are you going to do? Kill me? If you continue to get in my way, then that is what I must do. Mobius, hop in, bitch. We're going jet skiing.
I'm dead. This kid is so funny.
Riot. Hey, Loki fans, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. Loki episode 3 has premiered online, and man, I'm sure we're gonna get some differing opinions on this episode because I think it was a rather slow change of pace, but still revealed some pretty key information to give us a better idea to what is actually going down in this show. So what I'm gonna do here for you guys is giving you my breakdown of Loki.
There's a lot of conversity. Well, in that scene, it was a lot of conversity though. But I kind of knew he was like bad or some shit. Some shit was like, I'll tell him no, but yeah.
Episode 3, diving into Easter eggs you might have missed, pointing out some hidden details, my theories and speculation to what is possibly going on with the TVA Loki and new Lady Loki. But this is a joint effort here, so be sure you guys also leave me your opinions down below on what you specifically thought about this episode. I'm hearing a lot of people use the words filler episode. I would kind of agree, but also would love to hear your theories and thoughts on some of the things they revealed
I
in here,
just
as well as
filling
hit
in.
that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, so with episode 3 of Loki, it opens up in a rather weird spot where we have Lady Loki. As we now know, she prefers to be named Sylvie, having some drinks with the TV agent that she went ahead and kidnapped. I think a lot of us were like, what the heck is going on here? What is...
Yeah, that's why I was like, for a minute, I was saying the same thing. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how we get to the TVA to this, to have a good time and shit. Then, but when we got deep in there, it was like, but she was macho on her. That's why I was like, oh, okay. So that was basically showing her side of the story before, you know what I mean, for what you know what I'm saying, before they came, well, I think got her or whatever happened to her. But yeah, that was her side of the story and shit. So yeah.
Does this mean? Are they in on this together? Only to find out that this is her way of trying to gather information of the TVA, putting this agent into an enchantment that we thought is an illusion, but what now might seem to be her past life. Diving more into that further along in the episode, we cut to Lady Loki now in the TVA. Her causing havoc on the timeline was only to go ahead and make the TVA so busy it left their fortress unprotected. Again, taking in some of the information that we've learned about Lady Loki, or Sylvie here, is that she has no interest to run the TVA or gain control of it, but she still seems very interested in wanting to dismantle it and go after whoever the timekeepers are. We see her attempting to use some of her enchantment on the TVA, but again, because magic does not work here, she has to resort to brute force. Loki, being not too far behind, grabs his daggers from Mobius's locker like he wanted to originally hand him, but because Sylvie still considers Loki an enemy at this point, they can't agree on things, getting confronted here by Ravonna Rainslayer, Loki having to think fast and teleport them away, ending up in one of the saved Apocalypse time events. As we've learned, that's how Lady Loki was hiding from the TVA in the previous episode, specifically in the year 2077 on planet Lamentis, where it's about to collide with another...
What do we want? Free Britney!
She accepted that the conservatorship was going to happen, but she...
other planet. From here is where the episode really started to slow down, and it was more character development as opposed to learning of story. Now,
that's what I was saying. I said at the same time, like, we was basically learning about how she is a Loki, and she ain't really a bad motherfucker though. Like, she bad, but she ain't really like that fucked up in the head though. Like, she a cool person if she, you know what I mean, get to know her. That's why they was doing though. They was trying to get used to the, not real Loki. We already know how Loki is. Basically her. She Loki, you know, she Loki, you know what I mean? We basically kind of get learn of her development of character and shit like that. Because, you know, you just can't make a character and then just jump right to scenes and not know what the fuck was going, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck going on with her? You know what I mean? So that's good. They, you know what I mean, sat down, made a slow pace, talk about her and shit. That's good though, about Marvels and shit. You know, that just me. That's good. Cause now we know how she is. She ain't really an asshole, but she can, like, kind of like Loki though. He ain't really an asshole, but he could if he want to. You know what I mean? Type shit. So yeah. But
I have no problem with that. I think there are some wonderful moments here that we learned about Loki and Lady Loki. But to me, I was kind of surprised that this felt almost like a filler episode, because this thing is only 6 episodes long, and this is the halfway point of the series. I felt like this could have really been used to progress more of the story forward, but maybe we needed some of this breathing room, as the last 2 episodes have been really hard-hitting with information of what the TVA does, of how it works, what's going on that it needs to involve Loki. This was more room for the audience to breathe a little bit and understand these character motivations. Like with Lady Loki, for instance, saying that she does not like to be referred to as a Loki and instead likes to be referred to as Sylvie. Now, if we look at the comics here, there is someone that goes by the name of Sylvie Lushton, also known as Enchantress. And from what we've seen so far, the lady loves to enchant. Now, some things you need to know about this comic character and what they're trying to do here in Loki. Now, she isn't a Loki per se in the comics. The origin they have listed for her online is Sylvia Lushton was just an average girl living in the Bronx until the Asgardians moved their home of Asgard to Oklahoma. Not long after, Sylvie woke up one day with magical powers. Unbeknownst to Sylvie, these powers were given to her by Loki for yet unknown purposes. With her new powers, Sylvie moved to New York City to become a superhero and join the Avengers. Now again, we just have to remember that's the comic book origin, and the MCU is most likely going to be
they gonna flip that shit up
of that and and might be mixing in the character of Enchantress and Lady Loki as one. But you gotta admit, some of those comic book details fall very much in line to what has happened in the MCU. For instance, one mentioning that she was just a regular girl living on Earth until Asgardians moved close to her in Oklahoma, and that's something that's happening right now in the MCU. We have the Asgardian people living on Earth on Norway. Pair that up with the description that she eventually becomes an Avenger and is even associated with the Young Avenger comics. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of Loki we find Sylvie as a child and Tom Hiddleston's Loki donates his powers to her, and there we have a new member of the Young Avengers. It feels like all these Disney Plus shows are being made just to set up the Young Avengers, because each one of them has set up a character so far, and now with Loki it's becoming clear who they're setting up. It'll be interesting to see if she actually is a Loki variant, or just because she possesses the powers of Loki that were maybe handed to her in some future by another Loki, the TVA just considers her to be a Loki variant. Because once we move further along in episode 3 and we have the character of Sylvie and Loki ending up on the train as they're headed off to this ship that'll hopefully be able to get off the planet, they dive a little deeper into their backstories, and we learn that Sylvie also had an upbringing to where she was adopted like Loki. She was
same shit.
Very fascinated to hear about Loki's mother, who taught him magic. And even more curious is when they start talking about love, something that we really haven't seen Tom Hiddleston's Loki dive into in the MCU.
That was like, that's true too.
Seen him be power hungry and reaching for that power. We've never stopped to see him fall in love for another human being, yet he says here he's had both that attraction for male and female, confirming Loki to bisexual. Good job, Loki. Just trying to be supportive. This notion of bringing up love and the way Loki describes it definitely sounds like he's had his heart broken, comparing it to a dagger and whatnot. I think this theme is going to carry a lot through the show, because for one, we are all speculating that Ravonna Rainslayer is actually working for Kang the Conqueror, and he's the timekeeper behind all of this. And each episode of Loki, we are learning more and more evil things about the TVA. So this theme of love that Ravonna Rainslayer is doing.
That's what I'm saying. They ain't what you think they is, though. Even she said it too. Like, they ain't think what you. I thought it was good. Hell no. Shit, they more than that. They bad. Shit, no cap.
For her lover,
they kind of little question mark.
To me, I just kind of love how much they're bringing up the mother of Loki and Thor, and how big of an impact she's had on Loki's life, and it's kind of the thing that grounds him and humanizes him. But moving on from that, an Easter egg here that I think a lot of Thor fans are going to be happy with is we have Loki doing the traditional way of asking for another drink by smashing it to the ground and claiming another, the same way Chris Hemsworth's Thor did in the very first Thor movie when having a drink he enjoyed. Eventually, though, they get kicked off the train, leading them to find out that the temporal device that Loki was holding on to is now destroyed, and their only way off the planet is kind of gone. Coming up with the idea that if they can make it to this escape pod on the planet, they can somehow get it to work the right way to where it will come off, as opposed to what is supposed to happen, and that ship getting wrecked and everyone on the planet dying. I think this is how they're going to get out of this planet come the next episode. I think both Loki and Sylvie have to figure out a way to mess with the timeline of this current year of 2077. We know this entire planet and everyone on it is going to die, but if they can somehow do something to alter the timeline, it would then alert the TVA of a skewed timeline, and then Mobius and the rest of the TVA agents would come to go arrest Loki and Sylvie. But as they're headed to the city, we get a key detail about the TVA that I think is the most important part of this episode, and that is that everyone at the TVA was not created by 3 lizard beings who are sacred timekeepers.
Yeah, like, I was like, what? So they all regular people. This variance, I was like, that's a question. I'm like, what the fuck?
But instead are regular variants of the timeline who were recruited into the TVA to go ahead and assisting some.
Just like Loki about to be. Well, now I don't know. Now he like, he probably not though. Now he know the truth of it.
Someone's agenda of wanting to keep the sacred timeline the way it should be. This right here is some jaw-dropping stuff and kind of makes sense if you think back to some of the stuff we've seen in the previous episodes. So for one, Sylvie had to mention here that the TVA agent that she was trying to get information from, she had to dig deep into her mind going hundreds of years back, meaning whoever recruited her to the TVA has some sort of block on these agents' minds where they can't remember their past selves. And
oh yeah, because they do look like robots. I'm not gonna lie, they do look like some robots.
Just what they were told, that they were created from the sacred timekeepers, but they still somehow held on to one characteristic of something they really.
We have a lot of sayings about work. Like,
Really love
That's why
this
she started crying too. Yeah. So they don't really cry. They just, yes, sir, army. Yes, like
TVA
robots.
agent particularly having a fondness of margaritas, and now knowing why Mobius has such a fondness for jet skis. It's pretty clear now that Mobius was a regular person on Earth, probably some sort of jet ski salesman or a guy out there who owned a jet ski, and it was his favorite thing in the world before he got recruited by the TVA. This now definitely dismantles the TVA and everything.
Yeah, now make them negative.
For sure gives credibility to Loki, who said that some of those TVA tapes where they were training and learning were obvious brainwashing, mind manipulation. I really hope Kang the Conqueror isn't another Mephisto situation, because him being in charge of the TVA, creating it, wanting to just be a controller of the timeline and all the events that would occur, is going to be interesting to know why they did that, and if anything is ever supposed to happen, like they mentioned in the previous episode where the Avengers were supposed to time travel and reverse the snap, but something like Loki grabbing the Tesseract and going off was not supposed to happen. So is there even a sacred timeline, or can events change and whatnot? I think that might be the case, that this is the new Mephisto and he won't show up at all, and it's all theories, because fans have pointed out in the end credits there is this one mysterious looking person that has almost a disfigured face thanks to this glass in front of him that really resembles one of
at the end of credits
statues at the TVA. This could...
Shit, I really don't look at it in the credits though, unless they show like a part in the end or like cliffhanger. That's all that show. But other than that, I don't really like look at that.
The MCU's subtle
I do
hint
not
that
like
this
that.
character is the person in charge of the TVA, and that does not look like Kang the Conqueror to me. But the episode continues on here, and we get Sylvie and Loki trying to get to this escape pod with, I think, one of the most impressive parts of this episode, with just the visuals, the track shots where it doesn't really cut away, pairing up the action, the scenery. Like, this is some really high quality stuff that Marvel is throwing our way. And even once we see their faces, once the escape pod explodes and they are like, what do we do now? I thought were really beautiful, well done moments, but as a viewer, my jaw was kind of on the ground once it ended, and I was like, wait, that's it? That's the entire...
That's why I was like, that's why I was like, that's it? I was like, same
20-minute episode. I guess it's easy for me to call this a filler episode because we don't know how it ends or what progresses next. I mean, we did have Tom Hiddleston mention that episode 4 and 5 really changes direction, so I expect the next couple of episodes to kind of wrap it up for us.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Don't be offended or hurt if this turns out to be your favorite.
Nah, it was a good episode though. It was good.
I know there's a lot
They tell us about both characters. I like that though.
People out there that love character
pretty much.
development.
She Loki.
Hungry
I like
to know
that.
what's going on with the TVA, and I hope they don't try to hold on to all the answers till the very last episode, and we get sort of a WandaVision situation where it just doesn't feel as satisfying or complete. I'm still hooked and interested in Loki right now, but I am curious to hear from you guys.
It's probably like WandaVision and Captain America.
What repercussions do you
It was
think
complete, but was completed.
the
They did enough.
has on the rest of the show? All your thoughts, theories, or any Easter eggs I missed, I'd love to hear them down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3CFilmsReview. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.
Why do we have pride?
We shine our love for one another.
A love once hidden, now bursting.
It's probably like it's probably gonna be like what's it called? What's that called though? Like WandaVision, because Captain America did the same shit like WandaVision. They all live with a cliffhanger. They ain't really talk about like what what's what though. But yeah, it's probably like that. Plus they're making a season 2 though of Loki. So y'all mind that too though. So if y'all don't see what's going on now, it's gonna be another one, season 2. I don't know when though, but they said making one in January next year. Well, filming process is in January. So yeah. But anyway, man, that was a breakdown, man. Hey, leave a like, man. Subscribe to my channel, hit the bell new. Any songs or questions, man, let me know in the comment down below, man. And yeah, I'm gonna drop a lot of videos for y'all, man, today, man. So yeah, get ready for those, man. This is one video, many more to come. But yeah, I'm out. Yeah, alright, peace.